Hey, hello everybody. Can we please do the usual sound check and let me know if you can hear me saying things, because I got so much to tell you. Oh my god. So if this is audible, please let a bitch know immediately. Anytime is perfect. Hey, perfect. Okay, cool. So none of y'all can see the new setup, but I have a real fucking desk now. Oh yeah, Allison's here. Hey y'all, in 2 weeks, Allison's gonna be here, not just in the chat, but here in person, and that's gonna be rad as hell, and I'm super excited. We finished putting together our outline the other day, and it's pretty fucking dope. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for all my guests, but ooh, it's gonna be a good one. Nathan Spalding, am I your fave or is Allison your fave? Which one of us is the favorite? I got sidetracked immediately from one announcement into another one. Y'all, oh yay, Roman's here. Y'all can't see the new setup. I am not broadcasting from a fucking mini fridge anymore. I have, oh shit, oh no, wait, Dead God Justice 10-year-old can hear. Should I stop swearing? Should I stop swearing? Okay, phew. Oh, wait, you immediately followed up with continue. I assume that was supposed to be cursing as normal. You sure AF do. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Okay, cool. I never know. I always feel bad. Like when I first started working with kids, I was like, how do I speak to them? Because I've been so desensitized to the fuck word. Anyway, I've derailed myself twice now. Anyway, I have a shiny new desk. I am not balanced. I am not trying to cram like Tetris style my laptop and my second light and my little microphone all in one tiny space anymore, and that is such a relief. I have room. It does not feel nearly as claustrophobic anymore. We're getting there. It's good. The trick with kids is to just talk to them like small adults, but still less fuck word than I'd use with adults, I think. I don't ever want to have kids, but if I did have kids, I would not want random adults using the fuck word with them. If individual parents okay that, sure, defo, but I'm not just gonna fire off. Well, Allison, you gotta stop swearing so much, you little pie mouth. Okay, so before we get rolling, now that we've appreciated the desk, I want to just stop and announce something that some of y'all might not be aware of that I think is very important. Today, May 4th, is my mom's birthday. This is not really a shout out to her because she doesn't know how YouTube works and she won't see it. Maybe I'll show it to her if that's a rabbit hole I want to go down. But today is my mom's birthday. She is the reason this whole setup exists because she is the one who encouraged me to be a loud mouth. I messed up my own happy birthday to my mom. She is the one who encouraged me to be a loudmouth, smartass, sex ed loving queer bitch. Oh, you called her Mom Kenzie. That's cute. She raised me to be the hag that I am. She has supported this the whole way. She's the reason I got my useless college degrees. And she has never reacted with anything but, oh, awesome, when I tell her about the weird sex ed stuff I'm doing. She's a fantastic parent and I love her a whole lot. And I literally just got off the phone with her for this because this is so much more personal information than you need. I say as if I have not made a career out of oversharing. Arcane Vladimir broke my phone yesterday and I just got around to buying a new one this evening. And then my mom just called me because I felt so bad because normally I call her super early and I'm like, happy birth! But I couldn't this morning and that felt shitty. So I called her literally right before stream time. She's great. So I'm glad we acknowledged that. Oh, to Roman, the phone is bad. The old phone's broken. New phone's fine. I love everyone saying happy birthday to my mom. That's so good. Roman, we'll talk about what the cat did to my phone another time. That's not super important right now. I'm super jazzed that you're all back after last week's AMA. I'm glad the AMA did not scare anyone away. We have some good shit to talk about tonight. I'm going to be upfront with you. Normally, I spend the hour before a stream reading over the outline and saying the whole thing out loud just so I can hear how the words sound and practice my inflection and all of that. This is not as spontaneous as I try to make it look. Oh, Roman, thank you for making the bad didn't scare anyone AM way joke because I thought about it and I was like, Mackenzie, they will leave. Hi, Sinister Sister. Oh, yeah. So I normally spend the hour before the stream reading over the outline, and I didn't do that this time because, again, I had to go straight from work to get my new phone and get the new phone set up, And that required a lot of bussing. And for those of you who follow me on Twitter, it was followed by just like a weird interaction with a gross man. And then I scuttled on home and I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to eat some Raisin Bran and call my mom. So I have not had a chance to practice the whole outline, although I was reading it over this morning because I was making some last minute additions because I was like, oh shit, I thought I forgot some really good points. So what I'm saying is if I'm not as polished as usual, I'm sorry. Please chalk it up to the new desk getting me too excited. Yeah, good evening to everyone, but weird bus stop guy. Yeah, fuck him. I hope his orange juice and vodka tasted terrible that he was drinking at a bus stop at 6 p.m. Okay, so we're going to get cracking if my outline loads. Okay, so today we are going to circle back to a topic that I think comes up often, both like in these streams and just like in the general river of garbage that is my stream of consciousness. Why did I write that? It's not even a good wordplay. That is the notion of normalcy and where we get our ideas of what is sexually normal. Oh my God, Jess, you don't have to come here and break his knees. We'll never find him again. It's okay. I also I'm realizing as I work on these outlines, media literacy and like knowing how to read what is and isn't like real in media critically is like a very important sex ed skill. It's something that we teach in the Our Whole Lives program that I am qualified to teach now. I will stop humble bragging about that eventually, but today is not that day. Can everyone in the chat stop planning a murder on my behalf? I'm fine. It's okay. Save it for harassing men that you encounter in your own lives. So we're going to be talking about media portrayals of sex, which I hope a good chunk of you know since it's like the name of this video. And also I've been gassing it up for like a while now on my blog. I'm going to be upfront and tell you that I actually wrote a pretty extensive paper kind of talking about this during my junior year of college, during a semester of independent study that I did under my advisor in the Gender and Women's Studies Department at Western Michigan University. The focus of the paper was identifying formative sources that contribute to people being uncomfortable talking about sexuality and how that translates into being uncomfortable communicating needs even to sexual partners during sexual activity. In that paper, which is 31 goddamn pages long, if anyone was curious, I identify three main sources that explicitly and implicitly stigmatize open and honest sexual communication. The first two are familial attitudes and upbringing and formal sex education, usually found in public school. The third one that we're going to be talking about tonight is the media, particularly of the visual variety. Do you like how I very cleverly wrote out that whole introduction just to like subtly flex about writing a 31-page paper on a topic that no one cares about but me? Because I did, and it was very hard, so I'm still proud of it. Are you guys still planning on killing someone? That's not good. Don't do that. Thank you for the thanks. I'm glad you appreciate my flex. When you're when you're ace, everything about sex and media seems so weird it's hard to differentiate real from fake. Ooh, I want to hear from you in particular tonight, because ace perspectives are some of the most valuable in analyzing attitudes about sex, I think. Pretty sure that 31 pages of writing is more than I did my entire time at high school. Nathan Spalding. Okay, so y'all just planning some murder. I'm going to ignore that. I'm not condoning it. I'm not seeing it. I'll just pop back over to my outline tab. So before we get into this, I want to start with this disclaimer that yes, I'm very aware that most people are smart enough to know on a conscious level that fiction is not a perfect, accurate representation of reality. Anyone over the age of 10 rationally knows that, but that does not in any way stop our brains from soaking up everything we consume and making comparisons anyway, because our brains are wired to make sense of the world by comparing things we've experienced and seen and trying to make those connections. None of us are immune to that. Insert the godforsaken, you are not immune to the propaganda thing here. Someone make an edit of this. Hey, okay, wait. Oh, there we go. I came back and the first thing I saw in the chat was Viv saying, don't fuck the cheeseburger. And then I was like, yeah, that's how Viv is. Oh, Roman, you miss people planning murder and a friendly reminder from Vivian not to fuck a cheeseburger just because a Burger King ad tells you to. Okay, how the fuck do you say that username? Schwarmageddon. I'm actually not going to talk about advertising very much. If you want to see me talk about advertising, please tune in the last Saturday of May, when I'm going to be talking about the commodification of feminism through advertising and why I have some issues with the makeup industry. From Haley Weasley, I think you just explained basic concepts and associations theory better than 4 hours of psychology lectures did. I didn't take psychology, but sociology and psychology are cousins. And if it's taught like sociology is taught, I believe that. Memorial Day weekend or the one after. Dude, I don't know when Memorial Day weekend is. You bet your ass I'm streaming on Memorial Day weekend. May 25th is going to be makeup. Not just makeup, like commodified empowerment and brands trying to be #woke and all of that shit. Quoth Dead God Jess, eat the makeup industry. Yes. We can talk about more. Okay, wait, it's pronounced like Shermageddon. Cool. You don't have to like my last name more. That's a little weird. It's fine. Yours is fine. Anyway, we're going to talk about what's coming up on the schedule because, spoiler alert, I almost have the streams planned all the way through June. We all know what that stream is going to be. Listen. It's not just about makeup. I have feelings about the commodification of feminism. Taylor Swift might get involved. There's a lot. We're not talking about it right now. And we're going to go over the upcoming schedule at the end, like always. Okay, so I say like always. It's something I'm trying to establish. If I can, I'm going to cite an example from the very beginning of the Sex Witch stream when we talked about how it's totally normal to not be having that much sex. I pointed out how a lot of TV shows, especially episodic comedy type shows, really normalize protagonists just dating new people every week while drawing very little attention to it and treating it as entirely unremarkable. Rational, conscious thinking brain knows that's probably not what reality looks like for most people, but subconscious lizard brain internalizes that as part of what adult life should look like. Or teen life, because boy howdy do we love our sexually active TV teens. This is a call out for whatever you want it to be about. Riverdale, Teen Wolf, Glee, I'm versatile, whatever, fill in the blank, and that's who I'm vaguing for you. On the house. That's actually another like really good example of how this works. Actually, like I'm sure on a logical level, most teenagers know that like they don't look like 28-year-old models playing teenagers, but that's not going to stop them from like feeling super gross and inadequate because they don't have perfect skin and a six-pack and like multiple love interests killing each other to get with them. You know, like it's insidious. It sinks in. From Eli, Taylor Swift may get involved. Gay fear. She's gonna be right here. She's my guest. From Haley Weasley, Riverdale with 16-year-olds having BDSM sex or having shower sex right after one of their dads got shot. Hey, what the fuck is Riverdale? I don't actually know anything about Riverdale. All I know are the gifts. Okay, we're not gonna do this. I actually don't want any of you to explain to me what Riverdale is. Don't try. Okay, you're already trying. We're going to keep moving because we have to. So because I'm a heartless killjoy bog hag who cannot abide by the harmless fantasies of fiction, we're going to talk about a lot of common sex tropes as seen in visual media and burst those bubbles with aplomb and peer-reviewed research. And actually, I'm going to immediately contradict myself and say those fictions might not actually be 100% harmless if they're giving us unrealistic standards for ourselves and discouraging healthy communication. I don't think it's intentionally malicious on the part of any particular creators, but the impact is there. So first, I want to address the inevitable question that I assume came to everyone's mind as soon as I said we were talking about visual media. Actually, what you asked about was advertising. I assumed you were going to ask if we were talking about porn. Yeah, but not exclusively, and honestly, not as much as other things. I actually think porn is the least interesting aspect of this to examine because it's hopefully the visual media that's the most easily recognized as not being realistic. And like, yes, obviously for kids whose first exposure to sex is seeing porn, it can be really difficult to differentiate if they have like nothing else to compare to, which is why adult caregivers should make a point of talking to kids about porn. That's explicitly addressed and encouraged in the OWL program. We don't shame kids for looking at porn because statistically fucking a lot of them do. But rather we make sure that they understand that it's made for adults and is not representative of typical real-world sex dynamics. we give them critical thinking skills. Also, for those curious, I'm not like anti-porn, I'm anti-modern porn industry. I think we need to have more nuanced and critical cultural discussions that better prepare our youth to contextualize what they see in pornography. And I don't disagree that mainstream porn can often be exploitative and misogynistic and racist, transphobic, homophobic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there are also people who work in porn who really like it and care about their craft and are working to make like porn that focuses on women and folks of color and disabled folks, and like we should support their work and also listen to them when they tell us how to support their work and not assume that we know best as non-sex workers. Oh wait, okay, shit. Okay, wait. I missed some things in the side. Okay, wait, we're talking about okay, a lot of you tried to explain Riverdale. I shouldn't have mentioned Riverdale. Peer-reviewed as big sexy. Yo, kid, I don't know what you're into, but same kink. Peer-reviewed research is also my thing. Sex is replacement for emotional connection between characters in movies, and TV is cheap and needs to stop. Yeah, Roman's with me. Porn is largely a symptom rather than the actual cause of a lot of problems. Dead God Jess, nailing it as always. I can't buy my pizza with sex, the fuck? You're correct, Shermageddon. It's a letdown. From Owie Oop, makes me angry when characters are like whatever about each other until they have sex and then suddenly they're so in love and would die without each other. Yeah. From Sinister Sister, those are just birds outside my window. I can't stop them. They're free talent. All right, so those are my feelings on porn. That actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. Good job, team. But while even the most clueless among us eventually pieced together at some point that, porn isn't exactly a realistic depiction of sex, that distinction can be harder to make with TV shows and movies, especially the ones that pride themselves on being like realistic, by which they normally mean edgy and gritty. Not naming names, but we all just thought of one. Again, I'm vaguing someone on the house for you. As I hope you all know by now, the messier in-between areas with less clear-cut distinctions is what I really think is fascinating when we're talking about sex, so I want to dive into that. And I want to start with everybody's favorite, the History Corner. Have you ever watched an old movie or TV show made between, like, hypothetically 1934 and 1968, just to, like, throw some years out there, and notice that it was so chaste that even a married couple would sleep in, like, two separate non-touching beds? That was a norm for about 30 years, thanks to a little thing called the Hays Code that dictated the standards of decency in visual media. Among other things banned by the Hays Code were consuming alcohol, mocking any religious figures, and any depiction of a crime that anyone else could possibly try to imitate after seeing it. Showing a couple sleeping in the same bed wasn't even strictly forbidden, but it was filed under be careful about it. But the Hays Code was so touchy about sexual matters that it even banned depictions of pregnancy or childbirth, because those were things that kind of undeniably confirmed that sex had happened. So most productions played it safe and relegated even couples who were married with children to separate beds. Nothing sexy to see here, no sir. Okay, some people going off about the Hays Code over here. Hays, Hays. It was named after the guy who set it up. Yes. Okay, everyone give me 2 seconds. The cat is screaming outside my door. Okay, you can come in, but you have to behave. Okay. Yeah, I will drop some links to some info on the Hays Code if anyone wants to learn more about that. What do we got? Yeah, vague presence of the boy. He's circling around now. And then the Hays Code gradually stopped being enforced and gave way to the MPAA ratings, and it's all very interesting, and you should definitely look into it more sometime. I'll drop some links in the description and in the outline notes for those of you who are on my Patreon. And who the hell just texted me? Someone just texted me about one of their favorite sex scenes, and I don't know who it is because I just got a new phone and I don't have anyone's number. What the fuck? That's terrifying. Also, only like 3 people have my phone number. Please show yourself. The actual regulation was that they had to be in separate beds, or the woman had to have one foot on the floor for the duration of the scene. That's why the foot pop got popularized. Also, Vivian, I'm not saying don't correct me, but I did look into this. There was no technical regulation about the beds. The beds were optional. They couldn't be in the same bed. It was filed firmly under an zone. I don't normally on people like that, but I know her. It's okay. So the MPAA ratings that we currently know and understand rolled into place. It's all very interesting. You should look into it. I'll drop you some links. Where am I? My outline. We will be talking about the MPAA again before the stream is done because they're actually rat bastards when it comes to depicting sex. But first and foremost, we need to talk about how we've come all this way and still gotten almost nowhere. Pretty much every channel that's not like explicitly for children can depict and talk about sex to some degree. And that doesn't necessarily mean things have gotten better. It might just mean they've gotten differently bad. Oh my God, the cat is moving my lamp. Arcane. So let's walk through the general series of events that accompanies on-screen sex with more than a little input from the TV Tropes page for Hollywood sex, as they call it. It's super useful. I would recommend checking it out. I know that TV Tropes can be like a bottomless rabbit hole of like shit, but in this case, I find it incredibly useful. So first off, it's almost always like pretty spontaneous with very little discussion of like, so do you want to have sex with me? Are we doing sex? Is that where this is heading? If that conversation does happen, it's usually like played for comedy or cringe or both, highlighting that one or all the characters involved are deeply awkward or uncool, very possibly virgins. Spoiler alert, the subtle assertion that only uncool virgin nerds need to use their words to have sex is going to be a recurring theme. The idea of having actually like pre-planned and scheduled the sex is almost unthinkable, unless you are a teenager trying to lose your virginity on prom night, or adults who are in like a loveless marriage. For adults, particularly those in committed relationships, the idea of having to schedule sex is like almost always shorthand for the relationship being emotionally dead. Like, what the fuck are you doing if you can't spontaneously remember to smush your junk together anymore? Your marriage is over. It's a sham. Oh God, wait. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to keep up with the group chat, and I'm not. Allison is recommending Adam Ruins Everything. I've only seen one episode, but it was the one about weddings, and I can kind of agree with that. Why do people keep saying fusion? What the fuck is fusion? Don't explain. I don't actually want to know. Funny because dick appointments are real. You're correct. Allison, tell me more about the joke on Glee about scheduling sex. Actually, save it for episode 69 when we talk about the sexual politics of Glee. From Blank Space, yes. Wouldn't real adults aware of their schedules and needs have a little bit of scheduled sex? Yes, it's complete. Listen, that is sex therapist approved. Dr. Lindsay Doe, who is not like a friend of the show because she doesn't know I exist, but I love her with all my heart, like completely endorses that. If you're a busy adult with other responsibilities besides having sex with your partner, yeah, sometimes it's going to be necessary to be like, oh, well, like we're both free this night. Do you want to try to like do the did? That's normal. It's completely fucking normal. It's not really any different than like scheduling a date night. It's not worse because you planned it out in advance. It just means you're making time to prioritize that aspect of your relationship. Who'da thunk? Anyway. Okay, so that was the next part. Y'all got there before me. Okay, but so they might have like some vaguely flirty or bantery lines of dialogue, and then they just like lunge at each other and make out forcefully for like maybe 15 seconds if they're lucky. I don't know. I'm not watching individual sex scenes and clocking how long they spend on kissing for anything less than a shitload of grant money, and that's not going to happen because historically I am not good at writing grants. Frowny face. The point being, they spend very little time making out before they start just ripping some clothes off and looking for a horizontal surface to do the did. Whether they've been together for like 600 years or it's a brand new relationship or they're literally just succumbing to their massive hate boners and working out some aggression, some of y'all seem to have been commenting on fight sex. Foreplay is going to be pretty fucking minimal, which is bad for many reasons, not least of all because it's fun, and also because if you have a vagina, you need some time to lubricate the vagina. It will do it naturally. but it takes time. Also, not everyone's vagina will naturally like just produce enough at that moment. No one ever seems to be walking around with like a bottle of handy water-based lube on them, and that's unfortunate. I'm seeing a lot of appreciation for scheduling sex in the chat, and I love that. From Blank Space, I like planning sex because that means I can communicate with my partners and plan an experience we both enjoy. Yeah. From Mary, like planning also means you can communicate your needs easier and look forward to doing the did. Yeah. What's sexier? Just like wandering around like, no, I wonder if we're gonna bone again. Or going like, oh, we gonna fuck tonight. God, I wish I had that. But it looks so fun to just go at it on the counter. Fucking schedule going at it on the counter. Don't some condoms come with little lube packets? I wouldn't know. I am not a regular purchaser of condoms. Nathan Spalding, throw me the sticker. Which one? What do you want to see on a sticker? Drop that for me while I keep talking. So what happens after the initial, like, 3 seconds of foreplay and making out kind of depends on the network or the movie's rating and how much nudity they, with they meaning the collective brain cell of like the director and producers and network or company and the actors a little bit and the hundreds of people involved with making media happen. You know, those guys, how much nudity they want to show and are allowed to show based on the restrictions of time slots and networks and MPAA ratings. In less explicit works, they'll just like cut away and we're kind of left to assume that obviously sex happened, and that's not terrible. Like, at least you can use your imagination to fill in the gaps and like assume they must have stopped and discussed consent and like busted out the lube and et cetera, and they also don't have to suffer the indignity of underwear sex. We're about to talk about underwear sex. Nathan Spalding, tell me what you want to see on a sticker. Let's see. From Roman, are we entering the bone zone today or no? Don't know. It's unscheduled. Yeah, and to be clear, again, nothing is for everyone. If scheduling doesn't do it for you, that's fine. I'm just saying it's not a practice to knock. Why would you go at it on a counter? Those are always at an awkward height and super unhygienic. Y'all are correct. Okay, so Sinister Sister, underwear sex. Let's chat about it. So this is the thing that TV Tropes has dedicated an entire page to documenting, and they call it right through his pants. I like underwear sex more because I think it's more just obviously descriptive and also more gender inclusive because this happens to everybody on screen. How many times have you seen a sex scene where the dude was just like determinedly thrusting even though his underwear was 100% on, or his partner's underwear was also pretty much still on, or some poor person had to leave their bra on for an absolutely like no good reason whatsoever, even though they were trying to have sex. Like, they'll even still be like that in the scenes that presumably take place immediately after the boning. Like, either that or they'll be laying in such a way that there's like a dude's bare chest just fully on display, titties out, while the lady has the blankets like carefully tucked under her armpits to avoid showing off any accursed areola. God, I wish I knew how to do visuals while I was streaming. I have so many fucking examples I could throw at you. Okay, why are we talking about The Room? No. All right, we're not doing this. Wait. I have a lot of questions. Okay, cool. We have thoughts about underwear sex. One of the ones that haunts me most is from the first season of Stranger Things. Like, I was watching it right after season 2 came out because like the hype train finally got me and I was super into it. But there's that scene really early on where like Nancy and Steve do the did, and then afterwards Nancy's bra is like still on. And I know underwear sex is usually done for the sake of like preventing nudity or whatever, and it's like a practical concern. But in that case, I will say it's entirely plausible that an idiot teenage boy in 1980s Indiana just had like no idea about doing titty stuff. So like, that's an acceptable in-universe explanation for the underwear sex. God help. Oh God. Shermageddon is talking about Christian Grey's Dom jeans. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. Oh, shit. From Gimmick LCN, I saw a King Arthur movie where Uther had sex with his armor still on. Yeah, that's a thing. That is, I haven't seen it myself, but it is mentioned on the TV Tropes page. He just bones in full armor. That makes no sense. From Blank Space, recently a tweet went viral about people having literal penis and vagina sex with underwear on or over the underwear to prevent pregnancy, so I wasn't sure. have they thought about using a condom? And also, are you saying the penis entered the vagina while fully sheathed in a pair of underpants? Because that sounds horrifying. What the fuck? I hate it. I hate it a lot. I mean, no, that should not. It would be incredibly uncomfortable. Like, you could do it, I guess, but God, that would fucking hurt. Yeah, that would. Yeah, there's some apt comparisons being made to tampons right now, because, like, cotton tampon, cotton underwear, like, you're basically like, no amount of lube is going to make that feel better. Fucking hell. Also, Rachel Ann rightfully pointed out that would cause quite a wedgie. You're correct. Oh, they would rub the penis over the fully underweared vagina. This might be closer to dry humping. I don't think this is P in V. I think this is P touch in V, and the V is vulva, not vagina. P and V with like 3 asterisks after it. Jesus. I also saw someone ask if we can talk about 50 Shades of Grey. Personally, I'm not interested in ever doing an episode about 50 Shades because I have neither read nor watched it. I take that back. I've read fragments of the original Twilight fan fiction that you can still find online without the names changed, where it's Edward Cullen's Dom jeans. That's a bad phrase. But I don't really have any thoughts about it. If anyone wants like a very comprehensive look at the whole series, there is a YouTube channel called Folding Ideas that did a really, really good, very lengthy review of all 3 movies that I found shockingly good. So Shermageddon, bless your heart for mentioning the Dom jeans. Arcane. Okay. So now we're quoting Christian Grey. Help. All right. Anyway, Nancy still has a bra on after the very first time she has sex, which is such a fucking bad precedent to set the first time you have sex. That was like the second most distressing thing about the entire scene. The first obviously being that Nancy ditched her best friend to have sex with a boy, and then her best friend got dragged to an alternate dimension and died a terrible death. But it's not surprising because cis women are like really always losing out in on-screen sex, and getting their titties ignored is just like the tip of the iceberg, the nipple of the iceberg, if you will. I hate myself. They also generally can't enjoy oral sex, which is still considered like way more taboo and #edgy than a dude getting a blowjob. There's a documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, produced by Kirby Dick. And although it was made in 2006, which makes it like a bit of a period piece, it also contains some really solid investigative journalism. Oh, hello. Can I help you? Can I help you? Oh my God, Arcane, stop stepping on the keyboard! Arcane! Okay. Can y'all still hear me? He didn't knock out the sound, did he? Am I still audible? I'm very afraid. I'm deeply afraid. Someone please tell me if I'm still audible. Okay, thank you. Gygaxis Vaneheart is the only one coming through for me. He doesn't like the desk. He likes being an asshole. Wait, what do you mean in Maryland all oral is illegal? What the fuck? Okay, no, we're gonna talk about that at a later point. God. Okay, so there is a documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, 2006, made by Kirby Dick. It is a bit of a period piece now that it's like 13 years old, but it's also just some really good investigative journalism into who actually serves on the Motion Picture Association of America. Namely, these are the people who get to decide what content gets rated how and what gets censored more strongly than other content. Dick's findings include that violence is generally more acceptable than sensuality. Same-sex intimacy is much more heavily censored than straight intimacy, surprise, even if the situations are pretty analogous. And depictions of female pleasure are treated as much more explicit than depictions of male pleasure. Images of women masturbating or receiving oral sex can get a movie catapulted straight to an NC-17, the highest rating we have here in America, for those of you not in the know, while similar scenes of men will rarely warrant more than an R. And when we do get to see women enjoying sex, that is often just as wrong. I cannot tell you how many people have asked me questions that basically go along the lines of like, So, like, when I have orgasms, they're not, like, enormous and, like, I'm not screaming and thrashing and, like, it just doesn't seem like it's good enough. Like, how do I make it better? You don't, because your orgasms are fine as they are. You don't even have to have orgasms to, like, have good sex. I talk about that constantly. Did a whole stream about that. But, like, any orgasm is fine. It doesn't have to be a huge fucking production. It does not have to be a Party City orgasm. Like, sometimes it's just, like, a quick little shiver and you're done. Sometimes you don't move around that much. Sometimes just a quick knee jerk. It's fine. Whatever you're having is fine. And the media lies to you constantly. I don't know exactly what's going on in the group chat, but quote Mary Castle, men need to learn to suck that pussy. Endorsed! Endorsed by me personally. The Party City Orgasm TM. I'm sorry, the sparkle special effects representing Bella's orgasm? What? Clearly I need to rewatch Breaking Dawn. I've been... my D&D group is rapidly hurtling towards my D&D group is rapidly becoming a fucking Twilight book club and not a D&D group. So, like, maybe we'll just have a watch party. Oh, hi, Arcane. Also, shout out to Gimmick LCN, who saw Not Yet Rated and now disregards all movie ratings because they're a bunch of garbage. Anywho's. But if we didn't have, like, those massive yelling, overproduced orgasms, we wouldn't have, like, the synchronized orgasms that visual media is so fond of. Like, I think it's a visual shorthand for, like, oh man, they're so in sync, the sex is so good, they're gonna come at the same time. That's so unrealistic. Like, all these couples are just, like, simultaneously finishing and then they're done, which is, like, statistically improbable and definitely gonna make people who take longer to feel sexually satisfied feel bad about themselves. But, like, go off, I guess. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't understand why we don't romanticize just taking turns more. Oh, from Allison, my DM is possibly transferring school, so I'm excited for the Twilight Book Club. Oh, okay, they've found the Maryland law. It designates taking sexual organs into your mouth or the mouth of an animal, putting your sexual organs or the sexual organs of an animal into another's mouth, or other unnatural sexual acts. Big yikes. Big yikes. There's so much happening here. Oh, I do endorse drinking water. You are correct, blank space. So if we can circle back to the topic of underwear for a second, I do want to give a quick shout out to an absolutely delightful fucking quote I found while I was researching this, courtesy of Hugh Jackman, which is, like, the last thing I expected to be doing in this stream. I stumbled upon this quote from Mr. Jackman in regards to the filming of one X-Men Days of Future Past. Quote, I land back in 1973. This is what the script says. I wake up next to a girl who I don't remember and I get out of bed wearing boxer shorts. I was like, I don't know about America, but in Australia, if you're next to a really good-looking girl, you're not getting out of bed with boxer shorts on or briefs or anything. So yeah, I went commando. Shout the fuck out to Hugh Jackman for his ongoing service in the battle to depict the unsexy realities of human sexuality. And you know what? It is unsexy. They're like, the point is that, like, that they obviously boned and that Wolverine's not the kind of dude who puts his underwear back on after sex goes down. No shame if you do. Some of us get cold easily. I once put my entire outfit back on, like the jeans and the sweater and everything, because it was chilly, and then gradually took it all off again to have sex a second time. It wasn't sexy, but neither was me shivering like a fucking chihuahua. There was no winning that situation. And that's the thing about sex that fictional depictions are very often leaving out altogether. It rarely proceeds in a way that's smooth or linear or even particularly sexy from an outside perspective. Like, it's fumbling and it's awkward and clothes get stuck coming off or otherwise fail to be removed smoothly. There's a question of when exactly the socks are supposed to come off that, like, never really has a good answer. At some point, you're gonna need to, like, drastically adjust positions because a knee will be somewhere that's unfortunate, or somebody's hair will be pinned down in an uncomfortable way, and that's not even getting into, like, the very basic obtaining of consent. Okay, the cat be screaming. Sit tight. Hey, baby man. Hey. I can't pay attention to you right now. I mean, I can, but only to chuck you. I love you. Okay, what have I missed in the group chat? Are we debating who owns Hugh Jackman's ass? It's Australia's ass. Who wears socks to bed? Well, Gygax's faint heart, a lot of people don't, but a lot of people were not in their pajamas when sex began. Let's see. Mackenzie endorses putting on jeans after sex. I was cold. Fuck. It was winter. The room had a draft. They all came off again eventually. Fuck off. Let's see. What am I missing? Oh, we're all saying goodbye to the kitty. Yeah, that's fair. Feet get cold. Yeah. Oh, well, who owns Wolverine's ass? That's Canada's ass. But if it's Hugh Jackman, that's Australia's ass. And that is all I have to say about the topic of superhero asses tonight. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's more. So consent. Ideally, sex should involve a fair amount of verbal checking in with the, is it okay if I do this? Hey, could you maybe keep doing what you're doing, but a little bit to the left? Oh, that doesn't feel awesome. Go back to doing the other thing. Have you ever tried XYZ? Do you want to? Asking where the fucking lube is. They never care about the lube. From now on, I don't ever want to see another sex scene unless the people doing it have like a fucking thigh holster with lube in it. That's important. You need to have like a fucking having sex on screen license, and you get it revoked if you don't have a thigh holster of lube. Does everyone not walk around with those? Am I the weirdo? God, I wish I had a thigh holster of lube. I'm like, I get it, because the goal of every fictional depiction of sex shouldn't have to be conveying an utterly realistic experience. If it was, we'd end up with like a lot of sex scenes like the one between Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder in Destination Wedding, which was very funny and also made me so uncomfortable that I had to seriously rethink my stance on wanting more realistic sex scenes in visual media. Although, in fairness, a lot of the discomfort was probably caused by the fact that the sex scene in question was taking place between two genuinely god-awful people who spent the entire act of coitus talking about their comically awful lives and childhood trauma, and also they were doing the did in a field where any number of twigs or ants could have gone up their butts. Like Scott Lang crawling up Thanos' anus. And I said I was done talking about butts. Oof. Okay, wait, shit. What? What did I miss? A scene where they use paint as lube! Hey, Scam France, what the fuck? What the fuck? I hate it. Okay, well now I know two things about Scam. One is that I know three things about Scam. One is that it's a show that keeps getting made in different countries, like possibly more than any other show has ever been made in other countries. I don't understand why. I could not tell you what the plot is, despite the fact that there seem to be 17 different versions that I've seen GIFs of. Two, I don't know the plot, but I know that every version has a pair of nearly identical white boys who are not twins, but dating. I don't know if it's supposed to be that they look alike, or if that just keeps fucking happening, but they are the same person. And three, I know that some iteration of those white boys, I'm assuming, have used paint as lube. What the fuck? Anyway, apparently the Scam Germany Discord has an entire channel dedicated to the paint as lube memes. Of course. They have sex in the middle of painting a mural and are like, oh, we don't have lube, we have paint. Okay, so that's... I'm gonna get back to my outline. Where was I? God. Okay, so the scene in Destination Wedding is very deliberately bad and uncomfortable, which is what I'm getting at. And that's kind of a recurring trend. Sexual awkwardness and even like involved communication only tend to come up as a punchline or as shorthand for a character being abominably awkward and probably a virgin. There's this idea that if you've had sex before ever, you just automatically know how to do all of the things and never need to ask again, which is obviously bonkers. Like, yeah, of course you'll get a sense of what a particular partner likes if you have sex with them multiple times over a prolonged period, but there are always going to be hiccups and things you should ask about. And don't even get me started on if you're doing the did with a brand new partner. Like, I don't care how many times you've had sex. A new person is a new person, and you're not a mind reader, so you better be ready to talk about what they want. I'm getting myself all worked up and I need water. I like that Rachel Ann just said bacterial vaginosis with no context. That's usually how my brain's working too. Oh, fuck that. Okay. Eli said in one movie I watched, some guy went to the pharmacy to buy lube and prep for seducing this girl, and his friend ridiculed him because she's not a wrinkly old grandma. Well, neither am I, but I enjoy some fucking lube. Douchebag. God. I shouldn't have called him a douchebag, but assuming that you don't need lube unless you're old is dumb, okay? Like, yeah, you can produce, not everyone produces the same amount. It doesn't always happen when you want it to. Some people just like the feel of lube. Some people use the feel of lube to cope. Fuck. We're still talking about the paint lube. Nope. All right, we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We can do this. Okay. So I know I have in the notes, I know I said don't get me started, but like just assuming I was gonna go off. Oh, okay, so yeah, doing it with a new partner is doing it with a brand new partner. So the last time I was doing my queering virginity workshop, like about a month ago in Detroit, I asked the very cool folks in attendance to spitball some new ways of thinking about virginity with me, as I always do when I run that workshop, because it makes people question everything they know about virginity. A term that popped up that I really enjoyed was little virginities, the idea that every first is a first and deserves the same amount of conscientiousness and care that you'd afford to your very first sexual experience ever. Every new partner, every new thing that you try with a partner, every new time you have sex, period, check in, embrace the awkwardness, acknowledge that you're not always perfectly smooth and that goofs will happen, laugh it off and carry on. There is no trophy for being the best at sex. If there was a trophy for being the best at sex, it would be right here. No, I'm kidding. It would be right behind me, and I wouldn't ever draw attention to it because that would be tacky. But you would all see it. Mark my worms. Good God. From Dead God Jess, been banging the same dude for 13 or 14 years. We are still figuring out new ways to bang. Fuck yeah. Oh, why are we saying Vivian, what the fuck? Oh, okay, wait. I read an article about a woman who blocked a duct by slathering paint all over her vulva and smashing it down on paper to make vulva art. So, Annabelle said, you can get trophies to say anything these days. There's, Mackenzie Martz is not an expert, and her advice should never be followed. There's a trophy in her room. No. She claims to be the best at sex, but if there's a trophy in her room, I haven't seen it. At the McElroys, make me your fourth brother, please. So, like, I get it. I get that, like, maybe it doesn't need to be that deep. And I myself just admitted that I don't necessarily want to see totally realistic sex scenes every time. But I think it's really important to be aware of just how far off base these depictions of sexuality are. Because the cleaned up, perfect netherworld of the media soaks into our brains in a big way. I mean, like, I also, like we talked about this, I also know that, like, female models and celebrities are photoshopped into oblivion and have entire teams of people dedicated to making them look good all the time. It's still hard not to idealize that image and wish I looked more like that, which is why I think the work of folks like Jamila Jamil is so important. We all know it's fake, but it's important to see people loudly, persistently calling out not only that it's fake, but that fake is dangerous in addition to celebrating the alternatives. And it is dangerous to wait around in such idealized, seamless images of sex. Because it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, even if you can realize logically that movies aren't real, that doesn't stop our lizard brains from feeling inadequate and trying to replicate that. The best case scenario is people feeling like they should be able to just have sex without communicating their feelings or needs or checking in with their partner. And hang on, I just realized that's actually a very terrible and bad best case scenario. Oh, sorry, people are just going, oh, I'm a Bim Bam reference in the chat. Yeah, Surprise. We've been over this. Oh shit, yeah. Gimmick LC on the best at sex and best at puns reference. That's a good fucking comic. Oh, hey, Nate's here. What's up? Quote, other Nate. Sorry, my father Nathan just sent an emoji to the group chat out of nowhere. And other Nathan said using TV as a blueprint to sex is like reading the car manual for a Kia and then trying to drive a monster truck. I think maybe the monster truck is actually, you know what? No, fuck that. I was going to say, I think the monster truck is the TV because it's more unrealistic. But you know what? Real sex is a lot more unwieldy and exciting than TV sex. Fuck yeah. Hey, everybody, buckle up. In June, Nate is also going to be a guest. He's going to be right here in person. And it's going to be dope. We've also been cracking on that outline, and it's pretty fucking good. But he is not going to steal my thunder right before I finish. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, everyone's excited. Cool. Okay, I just saw, like, things popping up. Okay, not steal my thunder. Here we go. So the best case scenario is bad, and the worst, because that is like, feeling like you shouldn't have to talk to your partner to have sex, brings us perilously close to skipping the part where you even bother asking for consent. If the prevailing image of sex rarely involves asking for permission, you are going to look at generations on generations of folks not even knowing what affirmative consent looks like, let alone waiting to get it. And I think that boils back to a concept from another early stream I did, where we talked about hookup culture and how hookups as a concept aren't bad, but how the current understanding of casual sex requires a very performative sort of emotional detachment about your partners. Ultimately, that is fed by a fear of intimacy, not like long-term, serious, romantic commitment intimacy, but just the intimacy of letting someone see you be vulnerable. If you want to have good, healthy sex, you've got to embrace that. You are vulnerable when you express interest in someone, when you ask them to bone you, when you tell them what you want them to do, when you ask them if they're feeling good, when you let them see you undressed and listen to you make weird mid-coital noises. At every turn, they have a moment to think that you're weird or needy or otherwise worthy of derision, and it's terrifying, but it's the only way. Because idealizing the horny telepathic fuckery of on-screen sex is just another way to shy away from that intimacy and feel like we're inadequate for wanting and needing and giving voice to those feelings. We are not, I promise you. To paraphrase Tim Crater and modify his quote more than a little, if we want the rewards of having sex that doesn't suck, we must submit to the mortifying ordeal of being known. And that is not something you are going to get from on-screen sex. That is my outline for tonight. Please give me your questions and thoughts before I start telling you what's coming up. Stop tagging yourselves. None of those are things you should identify with. Fuck off. Hey, needing things isn't bad. None of you are funny. God, you are my real life friends and I love you, but God, you're unbearable. I do want to drop a shameless plug into the chat. If you want to hop on my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, I can keep doing stuff like this. I am currently chugging towards my next stretch goal, where if I'm making $169 a month, nice, I will do a drunk history of the Bat Family, and I think that'll be pretty fun. If you go up to $10 a month, not only will I make a sticker and send it to you, I will personalize your envelope. These are shipping out this week to all of my $10 patrons. I drew little hearts on the envelopes. They're incredibly cute. Allison, drop your Twitter so people can come get that bingo sheet. Someone just using the name M asked, what's the difference between a vulva and a vagina? So glad you asked. The vulva is the external genitalia, the clitoris and the labia and all that. The vagina is what's actually inside your body. Like, that's what the penis goes up into. The vulva is the outside stuff. Mary is also doing calligraphy requests related to the stream. Nate, we're not doing a Patreon for you. And I still believe that anonymous ask was from you. No one else wants any Patreon perks related to you. Y'all might, after my beautiful father figure Nate comes in and does a stream, I shouldn't say this because his ego is already through the roof, but he is an incredibly likable and charismatic fellow. So I will probably lose you all to him immediately. Also, Nathan Spalding, by far my favorite Nathan in the group chat. Thank you. It's very pink, and I did it kind of. I was playing a weird mental association game where I was like, oh, like media sex is very like unrealistic and rigidly defined, and like gender roles are big, and like pink is like a very rigid gender role color. So I did. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with like something to tie into STI show and tell next week. At Nate, I say nice things about you all the time. You are a dear friend. I love and treasure you. You just also make it excessively easy to dunk on you all the time. I'm sorry. Pink is a pretty color. You're correct. Yeah, go follow my dad on Twitter too, you clowns. If you're not following me on Twitter, I'm offended, but you will find me through Nate and Allison. To Haley Weasley, this feels like shamelessly self back patting, but I thank you for liking my hair. I'm trying to grow out all this. I don't like growing it out, which is why I shaved the sides, and now I just have a pleasant fuzz. I feel like a hedgehog. So I want to give you all a rundown of what's coming up for the rest of May. Next week, it is going to be STI show and tell night. I have something really cool planned, like a visual aid I'm going to use. And we're just going to talk about STIs, because a couple weeks ago when I was talking about public school sex ed, a couple people mentioned like, hey, I never even learned that STIs were curable. Like some STIs were curable. I just because they told us like, once you get chlamydia, you're ruined and you die. Haley Weasley, STI show and tell is on your birthday. I'm glad that you're excited, but if you have other birthday plans, please fucking do that. I don't need to be your birthday. I'm not that important. So next week is going to be STI show and tell night. That's the 11th. On the 18th, I'm going to have my sweet baby Allison here with me, and we are going to talk about the process of finding labels and also changing labels, and why a lot of people get uncomfortable with the idea of changing a label over time, and why I don't think it's healthy to kind of like push forward the idea that you need to find one label and stick to it forever, and why we like putting ourselves in boxes so goddamn much to begin with. And then on the 25th, I am going to be talking about marketing, commodified empowerment, selling feminism, and yes, makeup. To Shermageddon, have I ever watched Big Mouth? Nope, I don't watch anything. Annabelle is watching something from a hostel in Canada. Love that. Nathan Spalding needs someone's birthday. Is it okay? Remind me. Listen, Haley Weasley, if I'm going to make a note right now, I need to say happy birthday to you next week if you're here. Yay. Listen, nothing validates me more than when people are like, hey, I'm really excited for a stream that's coming up. Bitch, me too. I'm really jazzed about everything that's going to happen. Listen, hey, don't be mean to Allison. The outline's really good. We've got like really good stuff to say. I think it's going to be really cool. Also, I cannot wait to just like let Allison talk and then set them loose. Please don't. I can't actually stop you from whipping. It's your life and you can do what you want. Oof. Okay, Haley Weasley, fresh problem. You're in the UK, so it's going to be 1:30 in the morning. That is a ludicrous time to be watching this stream. Although I noticed Marjo is not here this week. Thank God Marjo is sleeping, because it's 3:30 where she is. Jesus Christ. I love the love that Nathan Spalding has for Allison. This is so fucking cute. Allison, we got you a fan. Hoping Mac won't throw her battery at me again. You deserved that. You know what you did. God Christ. Okay, I'm gonna start gradually winding down. I don't like what any of you are saying about sleep. Oh, Allison's gonna do Fortnite dances. All right, that's enough for this stream. I will see you all next week to talk about STIs. Have a beautiful night. If you have any questions or episodes you want to see, please message me on the Tumblr or the Twitter. Either of the blue hells is cool. I guess comment it below. We don't really use we use the chat, but we're not really utilizing the social function of YouTube. But maybe we could start. Make me YouTube famous. Please don't. All right, everyone have a gorgeous night. I love you with my whole ass. Good night. I don't know where that was going.